I have never asked God for a sign. It's just not something I do. Hi, my name is Heidi Mollentze, and I'm honored that you joined me today. Well, a few days ago, in the middle of making decisions about my work, my direction, my business, I did ask. I asked God for a sign. I asked for something very simple. I said, if I'm meant to have something to say, if I'm meant to be doing what I'm doing, to continue on this path, please put a feather on my bed. And shortly after that, there it was. The smallest little feather, perfectly formed, almost easy to miss. I remember looking at it and saying thank you, of course. And then almost immediately I asked, why is it so small? Why not something obvious? Why not something maybe a little bit more dramatic? Why not something that felt more convincing, God? Not long after that, I was led to Zechariah chapter 4, verse 10. The reminder not to despise the day of small things. Don't despise the small things. And that landed very personally with me, of course. And I realized something in that moment. Often the small and seemingly insignificant shows up before things make sense, before there's confirmation, before there's traction or visibility, before there's that external agreement. And that is usually the moment people overlook or dismiss or walk past. I know I certainly do that sometimes, not because I don't believe, but because it doesn't look like much yet. But the size in the kingdom is not an indication. Not the size of a prayer, not the size of a beginning, not the size of a sign. And not the size of the work in your hands right now. That tiny feather wasn't lacking anything. It was complete. It was enough. And it was exactly what was needed. And I think that's the encouragement here. If what you're holding feels small, it doesn't mean it's dismissed. If what you're doing feels modest, it doesn't mean it's overlooked. If the step in front of you feels almost too ordinary to matter, it doesn't mean it isn't seen. Small is not small, not when God is involved.